Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and I'm here with a much requested video about cutting these angles on tags. Okay, I would never have thought about making this into a video, however I had so many requests about it. They're saying which are the ways, which quick ways, how would you recommend, blah blah blah. And also I tend to use this little gadget or whatever you want to call this I made a long time ago, and I have no idea who came up with this in the first place, but it's something I've always used, and they've said, how do you make one of these? So we're just going to do it. So I'm battling the sun, so the sun is coming and growing, and I think we're in for a storm, so hopefully if you hear any thunder, I apologise if it scares you. So these angles here, everyone gets hung up on, oh, what's the right angle, what's the correct angle? To be honest, the correct angle is whatever angle you make it. However, we're going to address the situation in as many ways as I can see fit. Okay, first of all, tag base. You could easily just go like this and just eyeball it. Now, I know for definite those are not even and it would drive me nuts, but know that you don't need to get hung up on getting it absolutely perfect. You're not a machine, you're not a die, you're doing something handmade and handcrafted, so that in my opinion is okay. Something I see quite a few people do, and I saw Gail Augustinelli do it first of all, but I'm sure someone might have done it before, and it's the way I used to do it, is I cut the corner at my desired angle. I then pick up the piece that I've cut off, turn it around, fit it into the other corner, hold it in place, and then come in with my scissors and cut along, and that gives me identical angles. Okay? So that's another way of doing it, and to be honest with you, I did that for many years until I got to the point where I got so hung up with getting them even. I was like, there's got to be another way. As I said, I can't remember where I first saw this. This is an old store card. Here's another one. It could be a door key. Say you went to a hotel and you had the door key. It could be, and we're heading towards Christmas, it could be a gift card. Plastic as well, or another thing you can do is, this is just a bit of plastic from packaging. Look at things like bottles that hold liquids, like detergent bottles, things like that, and you'll find they've got quite rigid plastic in them. It doesn't need to be a huge piece, and yes, I will give you the measurement shortly. Just go in and cut it. I mean, it takes a bit of fiddling sometimes to get it out of the bottle shape, but then just cut it down and you've got then something that's a little more rigid, because my problem was when I was doing I had a cardboard version of this, and every time I lined it up and snipped, I tended to shave another bit off this, so having it in plastic works for me. Another place to find plastic like this too is these file folders. I've got a few of them. Sometimes you'll see them in recycling bins. This is quite solid plastic, you can use those as well. Could be you've got an old folder hanging around that you haven't actually got rid of yet. So anyway, so that's what I'm going to be using today. Now, measurements, because I know everyone always gets hung up on measurements. So this is 2 inches and 2 1/8. I get mixed up with me 8 Smith 16ths, forgive me. And 3 3/8 inches, or in centimetres. Oh, it's a very filthy ruler, isn't it? 53 millimeters by, I think this is 85 millimeters. Okay, so that gives you the dimensions. Not that that's important. You can use any dimensions you choose. Now, I can use either a small scissors or just a regular household pair of scissors to cut through this plastic, so know that it's not too much of a deal. Now, all of these angles were just angles I free-handed cut, as close to a 45-degree angle as I could. So I'm just going to show you a trick to giving yourself a 45-degree angle if you want one. Take any square or rectangular piece of card or paper stock that is actually 90 degrees cut. So this was cut, I think this was an offcut from a die or something. But if you've got a trimmer or you've got a guillotine, cut yourself a square or cut yourself a rectangle. Take one side and fold it exactly over to the opposite side. And give this a really good burnish down. Use your nail or come in with your bone folder just to make sure that it's completely and utterly smooth. That will give you a 45-degree angle. So you can use that to actually create your angles. So I'm going to replicate some of the angles on here. And what I'm going to try and do is, once this is done, I will try and give you the measurement down from the top that I used this, okay, because I'm just going to eyeball this, okay. So I'm going to put the flat edge in, so the flat edge of the card is being supported there, so I know that that's on the edge of the card. Hopefully you can see this because the sun's come out again, and I'm going to snip across, bang. That's going to give me my first angle there. Now if I've got a bigger tag I want to use, I want a bigger angle, maybe lower down, I'm going to move this down further down the side of the card, and I'm going to cut that one off. So therefore I've got two 45-degree angles. So say I want a smaller one, because we do mini tags as well. So I'm going to come down, line that up against there, and I'm going to chop that one off. And then I'm going to do a really small one, because I do find this little one is useful. Say I'm doing journal cards and I'm traveling and I don't actually have my round corner punch with me. If I don't want to just freehand it, I do have a little one of these that is just a corner. So I'm just going to snip that off. Right. This is now done with. This is now a new version of this. Okay, it's not exactly the same. That's totally fine with me. So let's see if I can somehow give you some measurements of what I did. So the first cut I did, this one, how am I going to do this? Oh, I can do it this way. Right. It's almost ½ an inch from the top of the card. Okay, because I can rest that on the top there. So if I come down ½ an inch, actually, because that little notch is there, see if I can do this. I would say that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5/8 down from the top. And you could then rest your piece of card there if you want an identical one to this, and then just slice off. Right, the bigger one, how big is that? So if I go to the top again, well, that was handy. This is 1 1/4 inches. So if you measure down 1 1/4 inches, make a little mark, put that on there and slice up there. You need to have a flat edge here. So that's why I've used a rectangle here. Square works perfectly fine. You just need to make sure that this is horizontal. So if it had no, what am I trying to say? If I didn't have this bit stuck out the end and you only had a square of it, I just have to make sure that's parallel with here. So maybe a rectangle is a better idea. I mean, I free-handed mine. So if it's a rectangle and you've got this piece here that's straight, that will give you something to butt up on. So that was 1.5 inches. Let's look at this one. This one was ½ an inch. And this one would be lovely if it was 1/4 inch. It is 1/4 inch. How about that for eyeballing it? Okay, right. For those in centimetres, let's see if I can do this in centimetres now. So I would say that's 18 millimetres from the top. This one is 3 centimetres or 30 millimetres from the top. This one is, I think that's 5 millimetres from the top. And this one is, I can't see it in this light, the sun's getting in my eyes. 12 millimetres from the top. So you've made this, and you've now made this, and you can keep it for life. I do have another one where I've actually put a hole in here. I've just used one of these. I've put a hole in here, and it's the one that I've got, and I hang it on the end of my travel journal sometimes if I'm making tags on the go. And the way you use it, basically, get yourself a tag base. Let's go with this side. So all I do is I line those two edges up, so I've got a flat edge at the top and a flat edge at the side. Snip. I then turn the card over because I'm right-handed. It can be done in the opposite direction, but I'm right-handed, so predominantly right-handed anyway. Line the edges up again and snip. If I want to have a bigger angle on it, I just use the next angle over. I'm not sure this is the right size tag for this, but I'm going to do it anyway, just so we can all see how this is utilised. So there. And snip. That's probably a bit steep for me, but it gives you an idea. So let's pull in a couple of little ones. Again, just take that off. It's important to keep the sides and the top flush, and then that will give you the 45-degree angle there. So that's a more stumpier looking one. And then if I want to take the corners off a journal tag and I don't feel confident enough to actually just snip the corners, and by all means guys, just snip the corners, I can just work my way around the card and snip off the edges. So hopefully you found this handy. I mean, I use my plastic guide all of the time, so as you've seen in all my videos, so see, that just gives you a really nice journal card if you don't have a corner rounder. So that's what we're making today, guys. You can screenshot it if you want. I don't know what benefit that might do you, but if you want to screenshot it just as a reminder of what mine looked out like, please go ahead and do a screenshot of it. So it's just another little make from me. It was very much requested, and I think I just need to clear the decks and say goodbye. So off those go. Let's bring in Ceri the Crafter again. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully that was what you were expecting. I kept it as simple as I could possibly keep it. And have fun with it. It's just a gadget. It helps me make all my tags uniform as far as the angles go. So I'm Ceri the Crafter. That's Ceri the Crafter. Until next time. Bye-bye, guys.